Hey there folks, how you doing this evening? Hope all is going well for you. Trying to keep the noise down because it's late in the evening and a lot of people are asleep around here, and I don't want to stir up too much of a ruckus. That being said, this is fans only unfiltered content. For those of you that know what this is and you're tuning in, thanks for being here. For those of you that are not up to speed with what we do on the channel, this is something I do for the loyal few that watch everything that we produce. So the way it normally works is we talk about things that we're doing on the channel, we talk about current events, we talk about religious matters, we talk about things that get under our skin. Then of course we share some funny stuff, some memes, some dad jokes, some dry humor, you name it, we have it on here. So if you want to watch, you're welcome to be here. If you're still watching, thank you for your support. A couple of weeks ago I posted a poll asking what y'all wanted to see more of. It looks like 40% of you wanted to see more on the 10mm, only about 10% of you wanted to see the Alaskan rowboat rifle. The rest of you either wanted to be depressed or entertained, and I'll do my best to try to do a little bit for everybody here today. Please bear with me, my notes are over here, so you might see me drifting over here from time to time. Okay, so I will get right into the 10mm, but first a real quick update on the Alaskan 243. As always, I like to show this is a safe and empty weapon. There's no ammunition for this rifle out here anywhere. So for those of you that are familiar with this rifle, you may notice that the glass on top of it right now is not the glass that it was wearing last time you saw it. This is a Vortex Diamondback 4x16x42. You'll also notice that right now it has the sun hood mounted on it. I don't know if I will leave that on there, but it was convenient to put it on there this evening because I just got the scope mounted today. I haven't made it to the range yet with it, but I can tell you already that just from the clarity of the crosshair and the optical superiority of what I can see through this as opposed to the old Vanquish scope, we're going to do better than 2 minute of angle groups with this rifle next time we have it out. I would like to thank Midway USA for offering this Vortex Diamondback scope at such a reasonable price. Literally paid half of MSRP for this scope the other day on their website. I'll tell you folks that I have dealt with both Midway USA and Optics Planet concerning products, you know, optics and everything, and Midway is always quicker and friendlier than Optics Planet. So wrapping up what I wanted to talk to you about with the Alaskan 243, I decided to go for accuracy. I purchased some component bullets so that I could load up my own rounds for it. I had a heck of a time with that. Everything that could have possibly gotten in the way of doing that the way I wanted to do happened, and so as a result it was frustrating, but we got it done. I got some loads loaded up today that we're going to take out and try with that, and hopefully it will show benefits on the range. So moving right along to our 10mm project, here we go. I'll show you clear. This is a safe and empty weapon. You'll see here, folks, I do have an optic mounted on it. This optic is not the optic that we had talked about putting on here. And before you say, hey, you're some kind of shill for Vortex, understand I do like Vortex products. I've paid out of pocket for each and every one I've ever had. This Vortex Viper was originally purchased for my Walther PDP. I went a different route with that, so I took it off of there. I wanted to put something different on this pistol because I wanted something bigger than the little red dot that this has. I wanted like one of those ghost ring quick acquisition sites that Holosun makes, and you know, they're several $100s, and this happened last week and I'm paying twice as much to drive my car right now, and my electric bill is twice what it was last year, and so I'm in the same boat as the rest of you, and I just couldn't justify the expense of a new optic for this pistol when I already had one laying around. Alright, so I do have some plans to take this pistol, the 10mm, to the range, along with the Alaskan guide gun this coming Friday. They're both going to make it out there. As well as something else that will be featured on an upcoming Unicorn Husbandry segment. For the 10mm at the range, I'm going to do some accuracy testing, get the red dot sighted in. I do believe the round of choice for getting it sighted in for precision will be the 200 grain double tap controlled expansion hollow point. That's going to be my pig hunting round. We're also going to be testing some Underwood Extreme Penetrator. These 140 grain, 1500 feet per second solid copper bullets. For those of you that haven't seen these before, I'll show you one real quick. They kind of look like a Phillips screwdriver that's been flattened off on the end. Non-expanding, but they leave a pretty impressive wound channel, and they have very good penetration for something like a pig skull. We're also going to be testing these Barnes Vortex 155 grain TAC XP hollow points, as well as what I'm most proud of, which are these hand loads that I just finished up today, which are 155 grain XTPs. I know YouTube gets weird about publishing load data, but they are middle of book range with a blue dot for propellant. So we'll see what we get out of these. Should be somewhere in the 1200 foot per second range. I do have a chronograph, so we'll be testing that, as well as accuracy. Then of course we have some 180 grain full metal jackets that we'll be testing as well. So my plans for that is to do a 25-yard zero. I'm also going to test to see what kind of patterns and groups we can hold at 50, 75, and 100 yards. The plan for the 10mm is to be the backup to my son's crossbow when we go on our fall hog hunt at Boars All Day in Palestine, Texas. You may also see it accompany the Alaskan 243 on my South Texas whitetail hunt this fall. So to wrap up our segment on the 10mm, I still don't have a holster for it. If there's anybody out there watching this that manufactures holsters that wants to send me one to review with this, I'd be happy to do it. Otherwise, I'd like for the other remaining guys out there watching to leave me a comment down in the comment section on what their recommendation would be for a holster. I was leaning towards the Vetter holster for this. I may also go with something like a T-Rex Arms Ragnarok holster, like the one that I have for my Glock 19. So moving on to those of you that want to be depressed, we know that red flag legislation was passed just over a week ago in the wake of law enforcement's botched handling of the Uvalde shooting. Senator John Cornyn from Texas is a disgrace to the office he holds, and I told him so recently when I wrote to him. Texas, we need to vote that sorry SOB out of office and let somebody who actually cares about the state of affairs in this nation do his job. That is, of course, if he doesn't do the right thing and step down. As we all know, red flag laws did absolutely nothing to stop the shooting at the mall in Indiana last week. What stopped it was a good guy with a gun, carrying that gun in a gun-free zone. Better to be judged by 12 than carried by 6. Although it appears local law enforcement as well as the mall administration were glad that he was a little bit civilly disobedient in that case. That kid is a hero, and everyone that walked out of there alive that day owes him a debt of gratitude. Right now, the House Judiciary Committee just rammed through some assault weapons ban legislation, which is headed toward the House either today or tomorrow, I'm not sure. Which really, this is nothing more than Hitler and the Nazis did before their reign of terror. Speaking of brown shirts and the Gestapo, did you see this garbage? Delaware man visited by state trooper and the ATF after making a multiple weapon purchase. I'll put links to a couple of relevant videos down in the description. I've got mixed feelings on this whole mess. On one hand, I've never had a problem cooperating with law enforcement, and I realize firsthand that most of them have good intentions. I can also see it going sideways real quick. if someone were faced with a stormtrooper with a statist agenda. Imagine, if you will, that you purchased this. Palmetto State Armory oftentimes sells 3 packs of blemished AR-15 lowers. Then imagine that 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, a year after you purchase them, you get a knock at the door. Trying to be a good citizen, you show them what they want to see, and they determine that because you have a couple of broken down lowers in your safe, as well as a box of random components, that all of a sudden you have constructive intent. Or God forbid, the lower receiver you're using was listed on the 4473 as a rifle instead of an other, and you have it mated to a 10.5-inch upper receiver. Could that happen? Did that happen? I don't remember exactly how it was said, but I remember hearing Ronald Reagan say one time that the 8 most scariest words in the English language was, "I'm from the government and I'm here to help."
The 9 most terrifying words in the English language are, "I'm from the government and I'm here to help."
When I first moved here to the area that I live in now, I had out-of-state license plates on my pickup truck. I was also working late evenings and getting off at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. One day driving home, I saw a police car parked on the side of the road, and as soon as I passed the intersection where he was parked, he pulled in behind me and followed me for a couple of miles before lighting me up and pulling me over. Now, I knew he was back there. I knew he was going to pull me over. I didn't do anything to encourage that behavior, but I knew it was coming. So as soon as the lights lit up, I pulled to the side. He got out, came to ask me what I was doing in the neighborhood. I explained to him that I had just moved to the area and that I hadn't yet changed my truck over. He asked me what I was doing out at that hour, and I told him I had just gotten off work. And then he told me to have a good night and fix my license plate light. Well, I went ahead and drove home, and when I got home and I parked in the driveway, I went around and I looked at my license plate, and lo and behold, both of my license plate lights were in fact working. Did he use it as an excuse to pull me over? Sure he did. Did I know he was going to before he did? Sure I did. Did I care really? Not so much. A little bit of an aggravation, but again, it was one of those things where I knew I wasn't doing anything wrong, so I didn't worry about it. Going back in time several years to when I lived outside of Del Rio, Texas, the area that we lived in was a hotbed for illegal activity. There was a lot of narcotics trafficking out there. There was a lot of human smuggling going on out there. And the Joint Terrorism Task Force would oftentimes do knock and talks and do random pullovers and stuff in the area where I lived. My wife and I still laugh about it to this day, that every time we got a new vehicle, we'd get pulled over a couple of times before they realized that we lived out there. Does it make it right? Maybe not. Did it ever really bother me? Maybe not. Can I see where it could be used to jam somebody up when there hadn't actually been probable cause established beforehand? Sure, I can see that. So, it is what it is. I'll just leave it at that. Now that I've got us all nice and depressed, we'll move on to some dad jokes and some memes. But before we get into the memes, my wife just gave this to me this morning. Check it out, folks. We got fan mail. Now, spoiler alert, I did already open the envelope, but this is what was inside there. I got a nice note that says, "Thanks, Jason, returning the kind gesture for us decal-minded people. Brian, forever vigilant." Along with a sticker that says, "Kill a commie for mommy." As well as a very Spartanistic Molon Labe looking sticker. Brian, I appreciate that. For those of you that don't know, we did have some stickers made for the channel here a while back. on one of the videos, I had mentioned that if you wanted one of those, I'd be happy to send you one. I had sent stickers to him, and he returned it, and that's great. You know, I can't tell you, man, how much I appreciate that. Thank you for what you did. All right, so bear with me. I will be looking over here while I use my computer to pull these memes up. First one here is Kevin Sorbo. If Liar's pants really did catch on fire, the news would be much more fun to watch. Agreed. One Arm Scissor posted, if you don't know the difference between there, and there, you're an idiot. Well, this is awkward. Where are my grammar Nazis at? Gen Z kids illegally downloading Metallica Master of Puppets for their Stranger Things TikToks. Millennials. For those of you that don't remember LimeWire. Alright, it has been plenty hot here, so we fly our air conditioner flag with pride here in Texas. Come and take it. Make me turn it off. Dan Reagan said, the inventor of Pop Rocks. Sugar is not good enough. It also needs to detonate. Ooh, in loving memory of $2 diesel and $8 hay. True. It's true. Chickens have stopped crossing the road. They now call an Uber. What's the difference between a drug cartel and the government? Ooh, I know. A drug cartel doesn't force you to take their drug. How's that working out for them? All right, Errol Weber posted this one. Currently, less than 1% of 250 million cars on American roads are EVs. That's electric vehicles. And yet these owners are already being asked not to charge their electric cars during peak electric usage to not put strain on the electric grid. This is a disaster waiting to happen. Now, I'm not sure exactly who he is. I believe he is a politician or a journalist or something from Jamaica. I don't even know if he's got any vested concern in the United States, but he's right. You may all go to In-N-Out. I will go to Whataburger. Davy Crockett. He would have said that if they would have had them back then. I love this one. HGTV be like, I work part-time at a daycare and my husband breeds salamanders. Our budget, $1.3 million. Pop star Pink demands pro-life Americans never effing listen to my music again. That's not going to be a problem for this guy. Gun owners watching non-gun owners stockpile apocalypse supplies for them. Anomaly Legendary Energy says, imagine if next time they lock you down, your electric car is so computerized that your government won't allow you to even charge it if you're not an essential worker. This one's probably going to hurt some of you guys. Dad. Son, someday you'll be a man. Son. But Dad, I'm 27. Dad. Yeah, but you still listen to Luke Bryan. Shameful. All right, comment of the week comes on our farm style review, making the Ruger Max 9 better with the Galloway Precision Maxxis SS short stroke trigger for the Max 9. James Heath writes, what a waste of my time watching this. To which I responded back, your comment helps the algorithm. It's true, it does. That wasn't enough for him. He watched another video on the Ruger Max 9 and said, What a waste this video is. This guy loves his own voice. So I responded back, "You're probably not wrong. I recommend you quit watching my videos and make your own. Thanks for leaving a comment. Like it or not, that helps the algorithm." Scary stuff here. Australia has just announced its military will become part of the U.S. military for all intents and purposes. The defense minister, the ADF will move beyond interoperability to interchangeability with U.S. forces to operate seamlessly together at speed. Folks, I've read some articles on this. That's really going on. For 67 minutes, they did nothing. No one is coming to help you. Arm yourself and train. Build a team so strong that anyone who sees doesn't know who the boss is. All right, buddy of mine sent this to me. I am from Albuquerque. I was actually born there, although I didn't live there much past infancy. But I did grow up in New Mexico. And yes, the state flower is methamphetamine. Albuquerque, New Mexico is unveiling bronze statues dedicated to Breaking Bad characters, meth manufacturers Walter White and Jesse Pinkman. The statues were originally commissioned by series creator Vince Gilligan, who is donating the statues to the city. You can't make that up. It was a good show, though. All right. Benny Johnson says, breaking: Dr. Fauci to retire by the end of Joe Biden's term. Good. I love this one. I can't unsee this. Make it a little bigger so you can stare at it for a minute. That's true. I want to see that every time I look at it now. All right. Woot. My rough country springs just came in. I've got rough country springs on my Grand Wagoneer, and they're rough. Alberto VO5 men's 13-in-1 shampoo, conditioner, body wash, toothpaste, mouthwash, deodorant, so on and so forth. If only it were that easy. Before calculators, people used... I thought it was funny. All right, dad jokes here. A mummy covered in chocolate and nuts has been discovered in Egypt. Archaeologists believe it may be Pharaoh Rocher. I didn't write that. I just found it and put it on there. This has been going on long enough now. I'm going to pick a couple of more and then I'm going to wrap it up for this evening. I love this one. Men's underwear, watching them buy more t-shirts. Guilty. After 37 years of saving, I finally found a bolt I can use. Too bad I need 3 of them. I have a couple of coffee cans full of old bolts out in my barn. All right. Me. Stands up really fast. My entire body. Yeah. That happens sometimes. Imagine doing 80 and your hood goes into largemouth bass mode. I'm just glad it wasn't a Ford. Speaking of Fords, I would drive that. I would drive that every day. Some sacrifices we make as dads will always go unnoticed. All right, let's beat this dead horse a little more. Couple used EV truck to tow their Mustang 2,700 miles. Stopped every 100 miles to recharge. That actually happened. I looked up a couple of articles on it and I read them. I'll try to remember to post a link down here in the description. Electric vehicles just are not the end-all be-all that they want them to be. It's a scam to control people. Last one, folks. This is a doozy. If you're still here watching, folks, thanks for watching. If you'd like to have a couple of stickers from the show, send me your address to my email address below. Don't put it in the comments section. We don't want everybody having it. And until next time, take care. God bless.
Sorry, baby.
You're okay.